On the morning of Halloween 2023, we decided to venture into the lakes region of New Hampshire and hike a pair of mountains and in the process take in as much late autumn scenery as possible. Our first hike of the day was up Mount Israel and the second was Rattlesnake Mountain. Although the steep forest of the Mount Washington Valley where we live are largely denuded of leaves by late October, the slopes of Mount Israel were still shockingly vibrant. The mosaic of golden and copper leaves beneath the bright blue sky, as well as the fiery shade of the forest floor, made us feel like we were swimming through an ocean of warm colors. It was the perfect New England autumn day in which trees prepare for the long and hostile winter by putting on a firework display. Mount Israel is a little over 4 miles round trip with just under 2,000 feet of elevation gained. It's part of the famous New Hampshire 52 with a View hiking list, compiled and curated by the Over the Hills Hiker Club. This list was created in order to disperse crowds flocking to New Hampshire's famous 4,000 footers, as well as to celebrate a wider range of the state's natural beauty. It features 52 mountains in New Hampshire that are below 4,000 feet but have stunning views. Both the 48 4,000 footers and the 52 with a View list are extremely popular and provide ambitious hikers with a vast menu of trail options. Hikers who work their way through these or other similar lists are nicknamed peak baggers. As two former athletes, we got a little intense completing the 4,000 footers list, often bagging 4 or 5 in a single day. Many hikers don't like peak bagging for this very reason, as they feel like it's overly competitive and stains the otherwise thoughtful and welcoming culture of the outdoor sports with elitism. While we understand that point of view and try to be mindful when choosing and doing our hikes, we are very grateful for these lists, as they provide us with purpose during the darkest months of the pandemic and have led us to check out some really amazing places we might have otherwise overlooked. Mount Israel is a perfect example of this. In addition to the beauty of the forest, we also enjoyed this trail quite a lot, as it maintained a pretty consistent, moderate pitch, never getting too steep or rocky. It was also pleasantly quiet and we saw very few other people, although this could have been because we did this hike on a weekday during the off-season, which not everyone has the ability to do. This south-facing opening was a nice surprise for us on the way up, providing us with a view of the nearby Squam Lake and some of its surrounding mountains. As we continued climbing, we found ourselves in verdant coniferous forest. The trail became rockier, but also easier as we reached the crest of the ridge. The last half mile or so found us wandering over a series of rocky clearings, dancing between tiny evergreens, and enjoying periodic teaser views before we reached the summit. As you can see, the summit of Mount Israel provides a stunning north-facing view of the Sandwich Range. Our view stretched all the way from Killington Peak in Vermont to Pleasant Mountain in Maine, Mount Moosilauke, Sandwich Dome, Mount Whiteface, Mount Passaconaway, and Mount Chocorua were some of the other prominent peaks visible from the summit. While Mount Israel is unquestionably a worthwhile hike on its own, we still had a lot of energy when we finished, so we decided to check out the nearby Rattlesnake Mountain as well. Rattlesnake Mountain is a much smaller peak, not high enough to qualify for the 52 with a view list, but is nevertheless renowned for its epic view of Squam Lake and is frequently cited in guidebooks and online as one of the most rewarding short hikes in New England. There are a number of routes to Rattlesnake's two summits, and we opted to visit both via a 2+ mile loop. The hike up was, while much shorter, a good deal steeper than the Wentworth Trail up Mount Israel. We also rushed a bit, determined to finish before the sunset. Although it's lower elevation and a few minutes south, Rattlesnake's trees had fewer leaves than Israel. We theorized that this might have been the result of strong winds coming up from the lake and laying the trees bare, but really we have no idea. Nevertheless, the golden hour lighting definitely brought out the best in the remaining ones. Although we had some idea of what to expect at the summits, we were still floored by their commanding views. Rattlesnake unquestionably lived up to its reputation as one of the best bang-for-your-buck hikes we've done. We thoroughly recommend both of these hikes for anyone who loves nature, but especially for hikers who might have trepidation about climbing New England's highest peak but still want to experience epic mountain scenery. According to our GPS watches, Mount Israel was 4.5 miles with 1,883 feet of elevation gain, and our Rattlesnake Loop was 2.3 miles with 955 feet of elevation. Combined, they were a total of 6.8 miles with 2,838 feet of climbing. We look forward to visiting New Hampshire's Lakes region again soon. Thanks so much for watching.